That was a cedar tree. That's why it hardly rotted. It's probably been there for years. Hey guys, I'm Evan. Welcome to Country View Acres. So today I'm out here at the woodshed and I'm trying to cut out all these tree stumps. And I started with the easy ones first. And I dug around them, tried to get the dirt away from them. I sharpened up the Husqvarna because I wanted to use a shorter bar. If I didn't have to use a long one, I wanted to use a short one. So worked really good on the first stump. Second stump, not quite as well. And then the third stump, it didn't really want to work. It kept on wanting to angle down. And I could never get it to recut it and come in with a new angle. It just kept on wanting to angle down. And I finally had to cut it out with steel. And it's got a 25-inch bar. It's a little bit long, and there's concrete here, and I don't want to get it into the concrete. But what I think's happening, I kind of talked about this in the last video, is the bar I think is worn out on this side. So the teeth on this side have a lot of wiggle. They wiggle back and forth a lot. And a lot of times it'll wear to one side. It'll actually seem to want to go to one side more than the other. And the top of the bar, the wiggle seems to be less. I'm going to try to flip the bar over real quick and try the next stump, see if that helps. So I'm not sure whether this is actually going to help. I did try tightening the chain, and that didn't help. And this chain has been through a lot. I've got it in metal quite a few times. I've actually got some bent teeth on this chain. I may just need to replace it. And maybe the bar is just completely worn out. It's gotten the dirt several times. You get dirt in that groove, and it just wears on it like sandpaper. And dirt will wear your bar out really quick. I do have a new bar and chain I can put on here if I need to. I always keep a spare. Well, that didn't help it at all. All right, we're back to using the steel. So the Husqvarna still didn't cut right, so I'm going to have to probably finish everything up with the steel chainsaw today. The Husqvarna has some bent up teeth from when I got it into some metal, and I think I'm just going to have to change out the bar and chain and kind of start out fresh. But I need to go ahead and start digging these stumps out a little bit and clear the dirt around them, and then we'll try to cut these out. But they are over the concrete in next to a post or grown around a post. So these are going to be the tricky ones. The top layer of the ground is starting to freeze. That's why I chose to do this today. If I waited till next weekend, I wouldn't be able to dig this up at all. I think that's stump. So I've been using a broom to try to get most of the dirt off so it's not getting in the chainsaw. And you can see on this side how the roots have grown up around the concrete, right next to the concrete. In fact, it's just cracked the concrete. The concrete's pretty well all cracked up from the stump. If you're trying to cut a stump off at the ground like this, it's about impossible not to get some kind of dirt in your chainsaw. So it's an extremely cold day outside and it ended up zapping the battery on my microphone. So I lose sound through this section, but I plunge cut the other side of the stump. I basically cut a strip out. Now that's going to allow me to lay my chainsaw in there, start working across from the other side. Now the stump is so wide, you know, stumps are just really wide next to the ground, and the 25-inch bar actually doesn't reach all the way through. So I do cut at this from basically all four sides. And I finally get it cut all the way through and get the stump off. Now, this stump grew very long down the side of the concrete. It's got some big roots. So I basically decided to cut these roots off as best I can, get them flush to the ground or close to the ground. And this stump was definitely a challenge for sure. Now, you can see right here I'm putting the stump killer on there, and you can see how big that stump is. It just seems like it stretches down the side of the concrete. So that tree stump that I just cut out, several people, probably the majority of people, thought that that was an ash tree. So I've got this app, you guys may have heard of it, it's called Picture This. And you can take pictures of tree leaves, and you can also take pictures of the tree bark, and it'll identify the tree. So we're going to give it a try, take a picture of the bark, see what it says. All right. Well, the app came back and it said it is a white ash tree. So you guys were correct. It is a white ash. So I didn't know I had too many around here, especially with the emerald borer that kills off all the ash trees, because I've seen that emerald bug. It's like this metallic green bug. It's very shiny, very easy to identify, but that is a white ash. So the other tree that I thought was a maple, it came back and it says it's a silver maple, also known as a soft maple, water maple, river maple. Anyway, so that's what it is. It was a soft maple. And then these two were ash trees. I think that'll actually make fairly good firewood, the ash. Now the only thing that probably won't here, walnut, ash, and maple. The maple will be not the greatest. So the last stump to cut out is a double stump. Two trees grown together, and grown around a post. I thought this one was going to be the hardest one. It may actually be easier than the last one we did. Well, you can see the tree is grown around the post from both sides. It's almost covered all four sides of the post. There we go. All right, that was the last stump. Let's take a closer look here. You can see how the stump had grown around this post, and I was able to get it all off of there without getting into the post too bad. I think I got in about a 1/2 inch deep right there, but overall the post is still really in good shape. So this stump right here was a big stump. You can see how it like grew right along the edge of the concrete and just kept on growing to the side. And it broke the concrete up several places. So it's got up underneath there, heaved the concrete, not done it any good. Now on this post, you can see I scratched it a little bit. I think I got in just a little bit on the corners here. But overall, this post is still in good shape. I won't have to replace it. Obviously this post needs to be replaced. It's missing the bottom 3 feet. So I didn't damage any posts bad enough to replace them, so that's good. So that stump's gone, that stump's gone, and then I've got the two over here. One of them I didn't cut down. This was an old cedar tree. It must have been there for years. Cedar doesn't really rot. You can tell it's just kind of rotting around the outside, but the inside was still very solid. Honestly, guys, I am glad that is over with. This has been a big project. So, you know, we cut down all the trees one day, and then we cut up the limbs and chipped them. Took 2 days, and then it took 2 days to cut everything up into firewood. And now today to finally get the stumps cut pretty well flush with the ground. And 6 days total on this project. Big project, and I'm glad it's finally done. So I ended up posting a poll on YouTube. I posted it on YouTube. I asked what project I should do next, and one of them was cut down the trees that were growing into the firewood shed. Now another one was building like a farm fueling station. I've got an old gravity tank back there that was on the property when we bought it, and I'd like to fix up that old diesel gravity tank and get that back working, and then maybe even buy a gasoline tank as well and be able to store diesel and gasoline for the tractors, you know. And that was one of the other projects, building like a farm fueling station. And the other one was to start back on the Allis-Chalmers tractor again. And out of those three things, about 50%, 49-50% voted to cut the trees down off the firewood shed. So that's what we ended up working on. I thought maybe I'd do like a choose your own adventure and kind of post and see what you guys thought I should work on and then do it. So it's done. So finally got it done. And I don't think I'm gonna fix up the firewood shed right now. The ground's getting colder. It's gonna be really cold this week. The ground's gonna end up completely freezing. I'm not gonna be able to put new posts in and try to you know, start fixing this up. So I think with the cold weather, I'm going to move inside, and I may end up working on the Alice Chalmers tractor next week in the cold. We may move over and do some shop projects during the cold weather. But I am so glad that this one is done and over with and in the books. So we got the stumps cut low enough because I want to put slats. This is going to be a firewood shed, so I want to put slats along the back. And just like you see a lot of firewood sheds, right? They're slatted. And I didn't want a huge gap at the bottom, so I wanted to get those stumps down as low as possible so I can have those slats go almost right down to the ground. And I think we've got it good enough to do that. But I think that's going to be it for today's video. I'm glad this is done and over with. And only thing I got left to do now is just a little cleanup. I got to roll some of them stumps over here to the firewood stack. And that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys all have a great day. I hope you have a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas. And I'll see you guys in the next video. So here's the piece that grew around the post, and you can tell when you look at it, it's got the shape.